Your dog starts pacing 2 hours before the first cloud even shows up on the radar. You check the weather app, confused, because the sky outside is still blue. You think they're just being weird today, maybe a little restless, maybe they need to go outside. You're wrong. Here's what no one ever told you. Your dog isn't reacting to the storm. Your dog is reacting to something happening inside their own body. Something they can't explain to you and something most owners have spent years completely misreading. There is one specific thing your dog does right before every single storm, and once you understand what it actually is, you will never watch your dog pace by the window the same way again. And the reason behind it goes so much deeper than fear. Welcome to PAW'S Mind. If you're new here, subscribe right now because this is where we explain what's actually happening inside your dog's mind. The things no one ever taught you to look for. There are 6 layers to what your dog is experiencing before a storm rolls in, and they stack on top of each other in a very specific order. Number 1 is the one that's going to completely change the way you respond the next time your dog comes looking for you with that look in their eyes. Let's start with number 6. Item 6. Why does your dog start acting strange a full day before a storm arrives? You've probably noticed this and assumed your dog has some kind of sixth sense, something almost supernatural. That's not quite it. And the real explanation is more remarkable than a sixth sense because it's measurable, physical, and it's been happening inside your dog's body the entire time you've owned them. What's actually happening is barometric pressure detection. Atmospheric pressure begins dropping well before a storm system visibly arrives, sometimes 12 to 24 hours in advance. Humans cannot feel this shift in any meaningful way. Your dog can. Inside your dog's middle ear sits a structure that responds to changes in air pressure, and research into animal behavior has repeatedly shown that dogs, along with many other species, register these pressure drops long before any visual or auditory sign of a storm exists. Your dog isn't predicting the future. Your dog is feeling the present moment with a level of physical sensitivity you don't have access to. This is why the pacing, the restlessness, the inability to settle often starts the day before, not the hour before. Your dog isn't being dramatic. Their inner ear is registering a change in the world around them that your body has no way to detect. Watch what happens the next time your dog seems unsettled on a perfectly clear day. Check the pressure reading on your weather app. More often than not, you'll find it's already falling. But that's not the only thing happening inside your dog right now. Keep watching because the next layer is something that happens directly under their skin. Item 5. Why does your dog suddenly want to be in the bathtub, behind the toilet, or pressed into the corner of a tiled room right before a storm? Most owners assume this is just hiding, just fear looking for the smallest, darkest space available. That's only half the story, and the missing half explains something you've probably never connected. Storms generate static electricity, and that electricity doesn't just exist in the clouds. It builds in the atmosphere around your house, and it builds in your dog's coat. A dog's fur, especially in breeds with dense or longer coats, can accumulate a measurable static charge as atmospheric electrical activity increases before a storm. Some researchers and veterinary behaviorists believe the static buildup creates a genuinely uncomfortable physical sensation on your dog's skin, similar to the way your own hair sometimes stands on end before a thunderstorm, except your dog experiences it across their entire body, all the time, for hours before the storm actually breaks. This is why bathrooms, tiled basements, and spaces near metal pipes become a refuge. Ceramic tile and grounded metal don't hold a static charge the way carpet or upholstery does. Your dog isn't hiding from the noise yet, because there often isn't any noise yet. Your dog is trying to physically escape a sensation crawling across their own skin, and they've figured out, through trial and instinct, exactly which rooms in your house make that sensation stop. The next time your dog disappears into the bathroom on a quiet afternoon, check the sky. There's a good chance something is already building that you can't yet see. We're a third of the way through, and I promised you something about number 1. It's not about fear at all. Stay with me. Item 4. Why does your dog react to thunder that's still miles away, long before you hear the first rumble? You've seen it. Your dog's ears suddenly snap forward. Their head lifts. Their whole body goes still, and you don't hear a single thing. You assume they're imagining it or that they're just jumpy. They're not imagining anything. They're hearing something real that exists completely outside the range of human hearing. Your dog's hearing range extends to frequencies far beyond what your ears can register, including the deep, low-frequency rumble that thunderstorms produce well before the audible crack of thunder reaches your neighborhood. This is called infrasound, sound below roughly 20 Hz, and it travels enormous distances, sometimes hundreds of kilometers, well ahead of a storm's visible arrival. Your dog's ears are built to catch frequencies your ears were never designed to process. This is why your dog can seem to predict a storm that, according to your phone, is still an hour away. They're not predicting it. They're already hearing it. The storm has, in a very real sense, already arrived in your dog's world, even though it hasn't arrived in yours yet. Every twitch of their ear, every sudden moment of stillness, is your dog processing acoustic information from a system they could never explain to you, even if they wanted to. And here's where it gets interesting, because this is happening at the exact same time their body is dealing with the pressure change and the static buildup. 3 separate sensory systems all firing at once, all telling your dog the same thing. Something is coming. Now imagine experiencing all 3 of those signals simultaneously with no way to understand what any of them mean. That's the world your dog lives in for hours before you've noticed anything at all. Remember what I promised you about number 1. It's coming. And it's the reason your dog does what they do next. Item 3. Why does your dog's body seem to physically hurt during a pressure drop? The same way some people say they can feel a storm coming in their joints. This one surprises most owners because it sounds like something out of folklore, and yet the underlying science is genuinely solid. Falling barometric pressure changes the relative pressure inside joint capsules and around inflamed tissue throughout the body. In humans with arthritis, this is one of the most well-documented and frequently reported phenomena in pain research, joints that ache specifically when the pressure drops. Dogs, particularly older dogs and dogs with any degree of joint inflammation, hip dysplasia, or arthritis, experience the same physical effect. The pressure drop that signals an approaching storm isn't just an abstract sensory cue for your dog. For many dogs, it is an actual physical discomfort settling into their joints hours before the first drop of rain falls. This explains something that confuses a lot of owners, why some dogs seem genuinely uncomfortable, shifting their weight, struggling to get comfortable, restless in a way that looks almost like pain before a storm. Because in many cases, it is pain, low-grade, diffuse, hard to pinpoint, but real. Your dog isn't just nervous about a sound they can't yet hear or a charge building in their coat. Their actual body is responding to the same atmospheric shift that makes your grandmother's knee ache before the rain. If your dog has ever seemed restless and slightly uncomfortable on a storm day for reasons that had nothing to do with noise or fear, this is very likely the explanation. Their body itself is telling them something is wrong in the air, and they have no way of separating that physical sensation from the fear that follows. We're halfway through now, and the layers are starting to stack on top of each other. Pressure in the inner ear, electricity in the coat, sound below human hearing, pain in the joints. All of it happening before you've even noticed the sky changing color. Keep that picture in your mind because it's about to come together. Item 2. Why does your dog suddenly start sniffing the air, lifting their nose, working it in slow, deliberate pulls, right as the wind starts to shift? You've probably seen this and thought nothing of it, maybe assumed they smelled something interesting outside. What they're actually detecting is one of the most specific scent signatures in the natural world. And it's a signature your dog's nose is built to catch far better than yours. As a storm approaches, the air carries a distinct change in ozone concentration, along with the scent compounds released when rain begins striking dry soil, a smell often called petrichor. Your dog's nose contains up to several hundred million scent receptors, depending on the breed, compared to roughly 6 million in yours, and the part of their brain devoted to processing scent is proportionally dozens of times larger than the equivalent structure in a human brain. What registers to you as nothing, maybe a faint shift in the breeze, registers to your dog as an unmistakable chemical signal that something in the environment has fundamentally changed. This is why your dog's nose works overtime in the minutes before a storm actually breaks. They are reading the air the way you might read a weather report, except their report is arriving in real time, directly through their nose with a level of detail you have no access to at all. The ozone, the moisture, the shift in particulate matter being kicked up by the changing wind. All of it forms a scent profile your dog has learned, somewhere deep in their instinct, to associate with danger approaching. And this is the moment everything converges. The pressure has already been dropping for hours. The static has been building in their coat. The infrasound has been rumbling at a frequency only they can hear. Their joints may already ache. And now their nose confirms it. Every single sense available to your dog is telling them, simultaneously, that something large and uncontrollable is coming. And that brings us to the one thing your dog actually does about it. The thing I promised you at the very beginning. The one strange thing. Keep watching. Item 1. Here's the part most owners get completely wrong, and once you see it clearly, you will never look at this behavior the same way again. You'd think that an animal experiencing this much overwhelming sensory input, pressure in the ears, electricity in the skin, sound below hearing range, aching joints, and a nose full of ozone, would do what every other instinct in nature tells a vulnerable creature to do. Run. Hide. Get as far away from the source of distress as possible. Find a den, a burrow, a hole in the ground, and disappear into it alone. That's not what your dog does. Watch them closely the next time you feel the first signs of a storm building. Your dog doesn't run away from you. Your dog runs toward you. They press their body against your leg. They climb into your lap if they're small enough, or lean their full weight against you if they're not. They follow you from room to room with an intensity they don't show on any normal day. They watch your face, searching it, the way they search it during every moment of genuine uncertainty in their life. And here's the detail almost nobody notices. They don't just want proximity to anyone. They want proximity to you specifically. If multiple people are in the house, a dog in the grip of pre-storm anxiety will, in the overwhelming majority of cases, seek out the one person they trust the most. Think about what that actually means. In the wild, an animal overwhelmed by a threat it cannot see, cannot fight, and cannot outrun does not typically run toward another individual for protection unless that individual represents something greater than the threat itself. Your dog's entire nervous system, flooded with every signal a storm can produce, has made a decision in that moment. Not to flee, not to hide alone, to come to you. This is not blind panic. This is your dog's mind processing an overwhelming, uncontrollable event and concluding that you are the single safest variable in their entire world. Not the house, not the crate, not the darkest corner of the basement. You. In your dog's mind, you are not just a comfort during the storm. You are, in some instinctive, ancient part of their brain, the only thing in the entire environment that might actually be more powerful than the sky itself. That's why they press against your leg instead of disappearing under the bed alone. That's why they climb onto you rather than simply finding the smallest space they can fit into. A dog who only wanted to escape sensory overload would do exactly what countless other species do when overwhelmed. Retreat completely, alone, into stillness and silence. Your dog does something different. Your dog seeks you out specifically, deliberately, sometimes desperately, as if some part of them genuinely believes that being close enough to you will change the outcome. It won't, of course. You can't stop a storm. But your dog doesn't know that the way you do. What they know is what they've always known since the very first time you held them, fed them, kept them warm, kept them safe. That when the world becomes too big and too loud and too uncertain to make sense of, the answer has always been the same. Find you. Stay close to you. Let your presence be the one steady thing in a world that has temporarily stopped making sense. So the next time a storm rolls in and your dog won't leave your side, won't stop trembling against your leg, won't settle no matter how many times you tell them it's okay, know what you're actually witnessing. You're not watching a dog who is simply scared of thunder. You're watching a dog whose entire body has been overwhelmed by pressure, static, infrasound, pain, and scent, all at once, and who has made a single, instinctive decision in the middle of all of it. That no matter what is happening in the sky, they would rather face it pressed against you than face it anywhere else in the world. Alone. That's not fear without meaning. That's your dog telling you, in the only language available to them, that you are the calm at the center of every storm they will ever face. Now you know what's actually happening the next time your dog won't leave your side before a storm. It's not random, and it's not just noise sensitivity. It's 6 different signals converging at once, and one decision your dog makes every single time, to come find you. If this changed the way you'll respond the next time the sky starts to turn, share it with someone whose dog goes through this every storm season. Subscribe to PAW'S Mind, because we go deep on what's actually happening inside your dog's mind every single week. And before you go, if your dog has ever stared at you for no reason in the middle of a totally calm, quiet moment, there's a reason behind that too, and it's not what you think. That video is next.